Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we're back with the first chapter of Almost Married, a book by Samuel J. Cooper.
I almost said Sam Fisher, but that's a character from a video game that I used to play a very long time ago. Not any relevance.
I mean, kind of fitting since this is not a real person.
There was a lot of espionage in that game, yeah, but just probably not to the extent that we're going to see in this chapter. What did this feel like, though? This chapter was like, it's a car on a cold day, and we're trying to get that engine to turn over.
But you felt like it was not a great start?
We're not getting anywhere, right? And then we're just repeating things, and then it's just, for people who complain about the format of Sister Wives and the limited storytelling that we're able to achieve in one singular season, there's a lot of criticism that flies around. Turns out it's hard to do. If you sit down in front of there and you're trying to type something out, sometimes it just ends up sounding like a repeat.
I feel like part of the problem is that this is a book written by somebody who hasn't read a lot of books, but is trying to mimic how they think a book should be written, because they're trying to like give us the backstory of their life, but also they don't really set up that that's what they're going to do. They just kind of realize partway through meandering through a different topic that, oh, I should probably talk about this as well.
It is more legible than Garrick Merrifield's book.
Okay.
We'll give credit where credit is due.
Jackie, giving you some points, because Garrick's book, significantly worse, especially if you're going to complain about the grammar, which, I mean, there are words just spelled wrong here. It's not grammatically correct. But compared to Garrick and Danielle Merrifield's book,
it's mostly legible for the most part.
I literally couldn't even understand what I was reading.
Yeah,
in their book.
In the Merrifield book.
Yeah. I was like, what did I had to read the same sentence 4 or 5 different times because I could not comprehend what it was they were trying to say.
Well, on a few of the grammatical issues that happen in these chapters here as well, I did have to read a few lines over and over again to try to understand and then just say, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to say for that one. So just move on. But it was few. Yeah, it was like one for this chapter.
Otherwise, it's kind of an easy read.
It's not bad. It's written in their voice. That's the other thing that's impressive, too, about this, I suppose, is because this is Jackie writing as Sam. So it's a book that's in character, like the point of view of another character. So full disclaimers outright, the podcast obviously has been and always will be for entertainment purposes. So we're not disparaging anybody here on legal grounds, but also I'm just going to throw out there, we have to take a lot of this information with a grain of salt, right? Because this is the catfish point of view for the Mary relationship that took place here.
I mean, you've got to first start off with, what are the motives of a person who is writing a book still about a person who's not real?
In that character's voice with other characters, dedicating the book to another person who was also that same person. So like,
it's kind of like dedicating a book to yourself, I guess.
In a very
Cara-Berry, thank me for speaking.
Maybe, I suppose, yeah. But we had that same disclaimer. We guested on We Love to Hate Everything's Browntown episode this week. So make sure you swing by and check that out if you haven't already. And that was the main thing that I just wanted to make sure that we're abundantly clear as far as like the information that's coming through this book. We are not taking it at face value. We are not accepting everything as canon fact for what took place here, because I think the biggest part about being a catfish, from what we've learned from all of our rom-con sorts of experiences and things that we've recapped as well, there's usually a little bit of truth, and then there's a whole bunch of fabrication.
Yeah, that's important to remember, because there are going to be things in this book that are true.
Yes.
But if the catfish wrote a book about things that were factual, it would be 3 pages long.
It'd be very boring. Very boring read.
Because their relationship was only 6 months long. So the amount of stuff that the catfish was able to get out of Meri, like good stories that would be spilling the tea, there's only a couple of them, and they're sprinkled in here, and the rest of it is bullshit.
It's all made up. Yeah, fabricated. Definitely.
But if you haven't listened to our last episode, go back and check out the backstory first, because you're going to be lost very quickly if you do not know who all the fake people are, who the real people are.
Yeah.
You might want an understanding of the timeline. We went very in depth on that. And also, thank you to everybody who gave us more ideas of how we could further improve the timeline. We're going to go back and try to add in what was going on in some of the other family members' lives at the same time.
Yeah, like Christine's pill popping addiction. That took place.
Very important. That does fit into the timeline, not during the catfishing, but after. And it's while stuff is airing.
Yes.
So
and that was a quick, brief, 6-week interim where there was 2 months where there wasn't any filming. So unfortunately, we didn't really get a lot of that on film, except for maybe the cookie tasting.
For Maddie's wedding.
For Maddie's wedding, where Christine and Robin went, and she was having a real good time that day. So I don't know if that was just a bottle of wine, if that was the vino Christine who showed up.
I want to go back and read her book again, because I want to figure out when the wine addiction happened. Because if that was before, during that time span that Grandma Annie was living with her, then that would overlap with the catfish.
Right.
But we're basically trying to figure out, were there other things distracting other family members from being focused on what was going on in Meri's life?
Because Robin was basically just so wrapped up in legal paperwork shuffles that were happening. Because it was
She was busy trying to take away all of Preston's rights.
Yeah.
And she was growing Ari.
And yeah, so she immediately went from Cody's legal adoption of her kids, and then she was pregnant with Ari. So she was very distracted for most of this.
And busy giving Kendra all of the information of what was happening at Mary's house.
Keeping her up to date. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
She's on the phone a lot.
Janelle, what was she doing? The SS Just Enough to Participate for the cardboard regatta, I think.
I'm not really sure. I guess picking Savannah up.
Yeah, there was some weather rolling in this season, probably.
I'm going to have to go back and watch what was going on with Janelle.
But a little distracted.
Help us with that, guys. Tell us what you remember. It's not just us building the timeline. We're all working on this investigation together.
Yeah, that's what's happening here. But for chapter 1, what did we get into? The first takeaways.
The chapter is called, How Did This Happen to Me?
So that should be the title of any narcissist's book. I thought that would be Cody's book. How did this happen to me?
That's just the name of his book,
the
title.
That's the title. Start, beginning, and end. Yeah, start, middle, and end.
I'm the victim here.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, that's what's going on. But I liked that you were able to pick out immediately that there was fake publishing house attributions that were there. Because this is a self-published book.
I cackled when I saw that there was a publishing house listed. First of all, it's not real. And the address is just New York, New York. That's it.
New York. Oh, the big time, the Big Apple.
The Big Apple.
The
I'm going to stop by Sbarro's for a piece of New York pizza. That's what the catfish was doing while they were, I guess, getting a book deal. This is not a book deal. This was a self-published book on Amazon, which any of you could do yourselves if you wanted to.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they're trying to make it look like, here, there's more credence to this. I got a book deal because this is such a fascinating story and I'm a real person.
Let's think of this as a manifesto, not a book. Okay.
That's a better way to put it.
That's how we need to see this, and just take it for what it's worth. That this is what it is. It's self-published. It's presented out there, single-sided, little bit of truth, a whole lot of fabrication.
It's dedicated to Lindsay and Kendra.
Kendra being the only other real person in this, because Lindsay and Sam are Jackie. So it's a tight web here that we're weaving, and it basically just leaves it. That's so odd to me to dedicate it to Kendra, but I think that was because...
Oh, and the dedication said something about thanks for continuing to believe in me.
Yeah.
It's
your love and support.
Because Kendra helped to further drive this story in the media by insisting that Sam was real. Now, we don't know if Kendra really did that, because Kendra said in that interview on YouTube with the private investigator that the catfish hacked her accounts.
Right.
and that the catfish was vouching that Sam was a real person.
So that was something we were talking about. Maybe we'll look into a little bit more, because a lot of those Kendra quotes that would come up in publications would be right around those times when the catfish was very active. Season premieres, season finales. So it was right in that window too of maybe was that the catfish who had access to Kendra's accounts and were sending things to publications that did not have her permission to be doing that?
Kendra still really confuses me in all of this, because I'm not sure if she's just a person with bad intentions who got wrapped up with another person who was doing something bad to this family, or if she was herself a victim of the catfish as well, and maybe the catfish is using her name in certain points in time to spread information.
Yeah, you become like
a vehicle.
platform. Yeah, for that in a lot of ways too. Another twist here, we have a foreword by S. Allred, which did we get the first name at all? It's just S.
No.
Allred.
Clearly that is left that way so that we can identify what person this is. But part of the Allred family, Christine Allred Brown Woolley.
Yes.
So we're supposed to believe that this is a person who left polygamy, who was part of Christine's family.
I wouldn't put it past them to try to reach out to anyone with the last name Allred to say, hey, I'm writing a book and I want you to do a forward for
I don't
this.
think that they had somebody write a forward.
I don't think they did.
This is another character that they've created.
Yeah, I don't think that they did. I just like to think of the idea of doing that to add validity to this, of like going out of their way to ask anyone with the last name Allred, please just write something for the intro here. Because it was very weird and vague and a little bit about their experience, but not really anything to do with the rest of the manifesto here that's accumulating.
Well, I think that what they're trying to do with the forward is start a narrative that is against polygamy and the Browns' faith. That seems to be a really big part of what drove the catfish to talk to Meri. I think they're going to get into it further as we get into the book, because as we heard, Sam is very into theology.
Oh,
that was
allegedly.
a big part of their conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know if this is just an attempt to turn people off to polygamy, or if something that they learned through talking to Meri was all the downsides of polygamy. I'm not sure yet. It's hard to get inside this person's brain.
Right. Because it's not a real brain. It's a subset of someone else's brain.
But clearly it's not a real person. And also, I think that some of the stuff in this book that's used at different points is meant to communicate something to Meri.
Right.
Because within this forward, there's a quote that says, I felt like another family member, not an individual. That's what S. Allred is saying. And I feel like you could pick that up and take that right from something that Meri has said.
Apply that to Meri, apply that to Christine, apply that to, there's a lot of the downfalls of polygamy, downsides, become clearly evident here as part of this forward from this nameless individual here who's coming out of the woodwork to support Sam in their attempt to dismantle Sister Wives as a television franchise, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's the goal here, is what it seems to be.
I think that that's one of the goals.
Yeah, but it's just a strange goal to take upon themselves to go ahead and do that. But I guess we're going to try to figure out what the other reasons are for that here.
So something else that I found was interesting right at the beginning of the book is they're talking about how short this relationship was with Meri, that it lasted from the beginning of March 2015 and it went through August 30th of 2015. Like, for some reason, they felt the need to put the exact dates, the first day of March to the last day of August. The catfish tweeted as Sam, saying the last time he ever spoke with Meri was August 23rd, 2015. And we're getting a different date here.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just want to call it out because I feel like it's hard to keep up with all of the stuff that they've probably said in different places.
When you lie, it's really hard to keep track of all of the lies, especially when you're lying at the rate that the author is at this point. So immediately right out the gate, we're already met with misinformation and things that don't match up, don't line up. Again, friendly reminder, we're not taking everything at face value in the manifesto here. So the one thing that I will believe, though, as gospel truth and fact, is that they laughed every day. We know that happened.
Oh, how they laughed together.
The laughs, oh, the laughs.
Doesn't that tell you just how sad Mary's life had gotten, that having a couple of laughs with somebody via text or maybe on the phone at the end of the day was the highlight of her entire day?
What is
kept her coming back for more.
There's a saying is for like, it's something about like attention or being polite to people and stuff. And it's like for, I can't remember what it is. It's a crumb for.
I've never heard this in my life.
It's like, okay, it's a
penny for your thoughts.
No. It's like a crumb for like somebody who's lacking so much it's like a feast, meaning that like just giving like a morsel
it's
of
profound.
Yeah, like a tiny little bit of attention or positive energy or impact on their day or on their life. Since they have absolutely none of that, it's seen as this huge dramatic shift for them. Mm-hmm. So it really doesn't take too much to go over the top to really prove yourself to Meri as, hey, I'm generally interested in you and I like you, Meri. And to build her up, it didn't take much to really get in there, so to speak. Well, not in there.
They claim they got in there.
Not in there. Not in there.
I also feel like going back to the fact that we think that there's grains of truth in here. Sometimes I think that the catfish is having a hard time separating the persona of Sam and Sam's relationship with Meri with their own personal relationship that they feel like they've built with her. And when I was reading through how they bonded over their childhood traumas and abuse and low self-esteem, to me, that spoke like that's coming from the actual catfish.
Yes.
And not this fake persona of Sam. But it was something that they were actually able to bond with Meri on from person to person without Meri knowing that that's who she was talking to.
Right.
But sometimes I question whether the catfish was talking to Meri as Sam with only the goals of a catfish. Or if this was a person who kind of became obsessed with Meri the further they got into it.
Okay, yeah.
You know where like obsession drives people to stalk other people?
Right.
It gives a little of that too.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I think I agree with you too, is that this is why when people read this, they go, oh, wow, like this was a person who definitely had this connection. I'm not saying that Jackie didn't have that connection with Meri. It's just that Meri was under the impression it was with this guy, Sam. It wasn't with Sam, but then Jackie is drawing on that experience to then apply it to this fictional character, basically. And that's what's being presented here.
I think even if you are a catfish, it would be really hard to separate your own life experiences when you're talking to somebody else when they have something similar to your actual past.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So who knows? But the idea that Meri was expressing feelings of low self-esteem.
Not a shocker. Not too much of a surprise. Definitely, we are fully aware of where she was mentally at this point in the series. Not so good.
And there's been a lot of speculation about Meri's childhood and maybe what type of abuse she experienced and how that connects to how Meri then interacted with their own kids in the Brown family. So I'm kind of not surprised to see that pop up here as well.
What was the description, though, that was given? What I found was a beautiful woman who had big dreams and hopes that were slowly dying. Hopes and dreams. This was before the family home was purchased, right? The Lizzie's Heritage Inn.
Mm-hmm.
So this is prior to that. So maybe there are some of those elements. There was some financial talk in this chapter as well, because the catfish is trying to advise Mary on some financial moves also about like, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to pay the bills once the show's over.
Not as good as Jen's advice.
Clearly,
take the money and run.
Take the money and then run. That's the words to live by, I think, from that perspective here. But, I mean, is that what we saw of Mary? I think Mary was broken down. I think we've established that. She was very emotionally vulnerable. She was in a state where it was empty nest. There was no sympathy. That she didn't feel like she had a connection and bond with her sister wives. She kind of felt removed from the family in general. So then she was looking outside the family for that support at that time.
I'm wondering, though, if Mary's dreams were dying or if it was more the realization that her life had not amounted to what she had hoped it would have been at that point.
Yeah, or like, or she doesn't have direction, too. So, like,
yeah,
did
you're
she
at a
have
crossroads.
Dreams? Did she have dreams that could die at this point? Like, did we even establish what those dreams are yet? Type of a thing, right?
Because what we saw on the show was a very lost person. So is it that their dreams have died, or is it that she's unsure of what her dreams really are? Yeah.
Because even when she's explaining it to everyone at the dinner in Alaska on that vacation, she's throwing out all these different ideas of, I don't know what I'm going to do, but maybe I need to go back and work with kids again. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do that. She's rattling off all these different things. And Christine's like, well, you could do all of those things, Mary. Or Janelle, somebody had said it too, where it was like, you could do all of those things. Like you don't have to pick one and go with that. So I think it is still a lost person who's trying to figure out.
Trying to get their footing.
What do I do? And then also the identity crisis that happens with this too. I think Mary just leaned into, I'm a mom, I'm parenting. And then it's like, okay, well now you don't have that. You're not really mom anymore after Leon moves out and is living more independently in college.
Not on a daily basis.
Not on a day-to-day basis in that necessity, that need, that reliance that's there anymore. And then I don't think she had that wife title. The legal divorce wasn't helping with that. Mm-hmm. So
it's like, who am I? And then you get catfished. And you have to think that you would wonder if all of your instincts are just wrong.
Right.
How do you even know what to do next?
Yeah.
Wow, we really dug into that one sentence.
Pretty much.
But the summation of this is that as they started talking to Mary, it was very apparent that things were not what they seemed. Mary even communicated that there was more going on in that house or the 4 houses in the cul-de-sac than it appeared on TV, which that's why we were all watching the show.
That's the whole point of the show.
We could all see that. We didn't need someone to catfish Mary to find that information.
No, that's not new and vital information at this point either, I don't think. What's wild here, too, is the claim also when Sam was mentioning how he lived a few blocks away. But then, like, after the breakup and stuff, he had to move to Chicago to get away from Mary because it's too heartbreaking being that close and not ever being able to be together. Well, the problem is that you were never together because that wasn't a real thing.
You lived a few blocks away.
She would have been gone.
Come on.
She would have moved out.
She could have just gone to the house a few blocks away. Cody would have never noticed.
No. He wasn't keeping track of where Mary was.
Cody was a few blocks away.
No. So
come on.
That seems ridiculous.
Also, Mary. This person told you that they lived very close by and you just never had an opportunity to meet face to face.
Come on.
I didn't expect that they would have said that they lived a few blocks away. I thought this was like, I live in another state.
No, remember,
we can
Vegas.
meet up in Disney.
No, they had, it was like a place in Vegas. And I think that was what got Mary really interested as far as researching some of these claims that are happening now, because I'm sure if you go to that address or go to the residence here, no, that's not who owns it. That's not the name that it's in, whatever. So it's just like, some of these things are probably going to be a little bit easier to catch someone in a lie here than you would expect, I guess. But reminder, this is not a tell-all book, you guys. This is A love story.
A love story.
Maybe it's a love manifesto. Maybe that's what we can call
The
it.
greatest love story never told.
Basically.
About to be told.
That's what's going on.
Did anybody see that movie?
No.
Remember we were going to watch it as a
We almost
rehash,
did.
and then we never did.
We came close, and then people were like, nah, I'm not interested. And it's like, yeah, okay, me either.
Okay, this is not a love story.
No, I don't.
Right.
I wouldn't call
Disclaimer. Let's put it up front that the goal of this book is to further humiliate Meri.
Correct.
And we will be keeping that in mind as we read through certain portions of it. And we'll focus our time and energy on the catfish and not on the Meri aspect of it.
Yeah, especially when you're just casually mentioning how great the sex is with Meri.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll get to that in later chapters. You're teasing that. You're drawing the reader in.
Ooh,
so then that
now
way
we'll want to read it.
Now there's this, sensational.
I guarantee that when this was on Amazon, there was a couple page preview that you could read, and that part was probably in there.
Yeah, the first 15 pages or something.
So then you buy the book because you want to find out about all of the amazing sex that the catfish had with Meri.
It doesn't read like a tell-all book. It doesn't read like a love story. It reads like a letter to Penthouse. In some instances. And I think that was.
Did you skip ahead and you read some stuff?
No. I'm just saying, like, even just a lot of this is just, the fabrications of the mind, the imagination that's running wild.
Yeah.
Here.
And while I do believe that obviously Meri has her own level of accountability that's involved with, getting involved with a person online and thinking that she was having an affair with a real person, I don't think that she deserves to have information about her sex life, especially when it's got to be fictionalized because this is not a real person.
Yeah.
I don't think that, that's another form of this person, the catfish, trying to have control over her.
Again, probably did Meri have conversations with the catfish about her sex life with Cody or something?
Maybe.
Like, so
there basically was nothing at that point.
Right. So, like, would there be aspects of truth within that?
Or
Maybe.
Could they have been sexting and stuff? Like they were Meri was sending pictures to the catfish. I don't know that we've ever seen any pictures
returns
that went the other way for obvious
Right.
reasons.
Right. Yeah, that hasn't come up. Fair, yeah.
All right. Now, how did this all begin? We've talked about this in the timeline episode, but the first public interaction that's seen between Meri and the catfish happens on March 1st when the episode about Meri announcing that she's going to get a divorce from Cody happens.
Yeah, that was the
She has her big idea.
That was the season finale episode that she was going to a divorce lawyer. And people weren't sure at the time why. And so that was this big cliffhanger ending because it's, oh my gosh, is Meri leaving Cody because he's such a terrible husband and he's abandoned her emotionally and physically? And he doesn't
all the
spend time
reasons that she ultimately left him.
all the reasons that, all of his wives left him, but except for Robin, of course. So, like, the difference there being it was still being teased out as this, oh my gosh, Meri's leaving Cody, but we don't know the real reason yet. And so the catfish is trying to say that they had the exclusive access to Meri, who then told them what the real reason was too. So then it adds this credibility of, I have the inside line on this information that I was getting from Meri at the time, but I was sworn to secrecy because they needed it for the storyline on the show. So that was kind of an interesting part too.
Right.
An element of those interactions.
Well, I think that's also setting up for us that they have tea to spill.
Correct.
I know all the secrets.
I know the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the skeletons in the closet she told me about.
Pretty much.
Also, it's really weird that the catfish will not write Cody's name in this book.
It's like, they're Voldemorting Cody, where it's just the he who shall not be named.
Like, were they afraid that they would get sued?
Just spell
I don't
his
think
name wrong.
that matters anyway.
Yeah, just spell his name wrong. You spelled a bunch of other words wrong on some other claims. I don't know if that was a way around it too.
Well, Cody's a public figure just like Meri is.
Yeah.
So if you're able to write this stuff about Meri, why would you not be able to write Cody?
Right.
Okay, that's also where it made me wonder, like, is this a psychological thing? Where this person despises Cody so much for Meri's attachment and loyalty to him that they can't even bring themselves to write his name.
Hate it. Yeah. Do not like this guy at all.
Because I was like weirded out when I read the first sentence, and it was about the divorce stuff, and it was just like why she divorced him.
He did this stuff, and it was.
And I was like, him. You've never introduced Cody.
Him. Who's they? Yeah. Who are they? Who are you talking about?
And then you said, oh well, he doesn't. They don't say Cody's name through the whole book.
Nope. Not so far that we've read in chapter 1 here. But I don't think that that's going to change. Maybe it's just because they did a bad job introducing the characters. They didn't do a set. It could just be a writing thing.
Too busy dedicating the book to other fake people to remember to introduce real people.
Patting themselves on the back. It's the, what is it? Yeah, the meme where it's like putting the medal on yourself sort of experience that's happening here type of things. Maybe. The other thing that we both immediately sniffed out as bullshit on this was when the interaction that took place on that episode premiere. So that was March 1st.
The finale.
The finale episode. Oh, careful.
Sorry, Mary's
bashing into the mic. No, Maisie.
Maisie's she's fighting me too. She's trying to hit it again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You got to hold still now. Oh boy. Okay. So the other thing that we immediately called BS on was how Sam was like, oh yeah, because I had to get to bed early, and so once we had stopped talking on Twitter, we were messaging back and forth via DMs. Maybe you've heard of them, direct messages.
it's such an obscure thing.
This new hip way of communicating with people online.
This book was written when? 2015?
We'll have to ask the publishing house.
I think it said 15 in the book, but it wasn't published then.
We'll have to go to New York, and ask the publishing house. But no, so what they're saying is that the reason why they weren't able to stay up too late and continue talking with Mary was because it was their birthday the next day. And I was like, oh, because they had to jump in and immediately change their birthday to March 2nd. Mm-hmm. So that way they have another reason to interact with Mary.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Come on. This is so obvious.
This is textbook.
So
catfish
you had
stuff.
a little talk back and forth, a little flirty, a little funny with her while the episode was on. And then it's your birthday the next day. So now she's going to have another reason to not have to reach out to you. But if she wanted to engage with you, you could see how they're laying a trap here to like further engage with Mary.
It's the accessibility. It's you're immediately coming up in Mary's notifications now, because I'm sure like that's a feature at the time.
Well, this person I had a fun interaction with last night. It's their birthday. I should say happy birthday.
Because Mary went out of her way to follow Sam too. Mm-hmm. So then they knew, oh, she's getting interested here.
Also, if it hadn't been his birthday the next day, would he just have become another person on Twitter that Mary had a brief conversation with?
Right. Which they were trying to say in this as well, that Sam was like, oh, I was one of the few people who was like defending Mary in this episode, which we know what that's like, right? As far as, seeing the interactions online of all these people with the negativity that would come with the episode that's airing based on people bashing Mary for her decisions here. But at the time, it's like, no, why was anybody upset about Mary divorcing Cody? If anything, we should be upset about the real reason for the legal divorce.
Right, that it wasn't a real divorce.
It wasn't a real divorce in terms of, a spiritual release as well.
It was also weird that they tried to claim in an earlier paragraph that wasn't the first time they talked to Mary.
Yeah, so I don't know when that would be, like if they just interacted. Also, the other bullshit thing, too, talking about being Sam, who's 6 CEOs and a millionaire, binging episodes of Sister Wives on their DVR every weekend. And it was like, okay.
I wasn't a fan of the show. I just casually watched, but I also DVR'd the episodes so I could watch them at my free time.
And I would watch them extensively. But if it was boring, I would just, delete it and skip through. Okay. Bullshit, right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
This sounds like...
I feel like the whole DVR thing was supposed to make us believe that this is a very busy person who doesn't have time to watch TV, because otherwise we'd be questioning why they were free on Sunday night to be on Twitter live tweeting the episode while it's airing, which is what they admit to having done.
Because it was Sam's birthday the next day. Sam took the day off for his birthday, probably,
a
right?
late Sunday night at 10 p.m.
That must have been it. Probably. They're in Vegas too. It's local, so it's a little bit earlier for them.
I kind of wonder if the thing about having talked to Mary before lines up with that whole live MLM party where supposedly Kendra brought Lindsay and Lindsay was there representing this multimillionaire who was maybe interested in making a big investment into this MLM because that's what millionaires do.
Of course.
Is put their money into MLMs.
Obviously.
Run by people who were on a random TV show that they don't watch.
Not really. Not extensively. Correct. Yeah. And Lindsay's just gathering information in the meantime, too, because then Sam had so much fun DMing with Mary that he had to cancel his birthday plans with Lindsay.
Oh, we were having such a good time talking to each other that I lost track of time and I missed my birthday party. Isn't that crazy?
I had to cancel dinner with myself. I can't cancel that again.
Clearly meant to make Mary feel like she was really special.
Very special.
That this person got so distracted from what was going on in their regular day-to-day life by talking to her that they forgot their own birthday party.
And then Lindsay was so grumpy when Sam texted her and was like, I'm not going to make it. And so then Lindsay's just basically, threatening criminal mischief.
She told me she was going to throw my cake on my doorstep. She's funny like that. That's literally the book.
She says all these wacky, crazy things like that. And so
I'm going to install malware on your phone.
Don't click any links from her. So, that's what it's coming down to at this point, too, is where you have to prioritize Mary by canceling dinner with yourself on your birthday, which is not your birthday. And that just elevates Mary's status and accelerates this relationship a little bit.
To be fair, Mary almost had her husband marry another woman on her birthday. So somebody being like, I forgot my own birthday because I was so into this conversation with you would really hit home for her.
Only a fan of the show would know that. Somebody who's DVR'd every single episode and watches them extensively on weekends.
Also, Sam, we mentioned his interest in theology.
Right.
So they started talking a little bit about Mary's faith, which I think is setting up the groundwork for later on, where Sam starts to connect, Mary questioning her own beliefs to whether or not she should stay in this family.
Yeah.
There's, again, something psychological to that. And to get someone to open up about something that's deeply personal to them.
There was a lot of referencing that, too, of remaining open to me and opening up to me.
Well, and how did Sam set this up? I recently got out of a very long, intense relationship, and I'm not looking for anything like that right now.
So that's interesting, right? To be like...
Oh, that's done on purpose.
Setting the stage of this is totally platonic because I'm not interested in anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So if Mary had anything in the back of her mind that was saying to her, okay, this is kind of inappropriate. I'm a married woman. I'm talking to this 42-year-old man who's very attractive, who's interested in talking to me online. Now it kind of disarms you because they're saying, I'm not looking for any type of romantic relationship right now. So I'm a safe person to have conversations like this with.
So then this is weird too, because then it was basically Sam is saying, I never really initiated conversations.
No,
with
let her
Mary.
come to you.
Mary would reach out to me and then we would talk. So it makes sense because then every single interaction that you have is trying to connect those dots to get Mary to reach out to you or want to reach out to you.
These are like the pickup artist moves.
Yeah.
It's based a little bit in that.
A little bit in that.
It's going to start nagging her soon.
Realm, I think, for a little bit of that. Did we have a note about, is this the phone conversation that they had too? Because then there was that was on the birthday, right?
Yeah, so this escalated quickly from them having a conversation on March 1st on Twitter to now the catfish says they moved to DMs. Then the next day, it's the catfish's birthday. And he makes a joke that Mary should give him a call and wish him happy birthday. And so she does.
At 2:30 in the morning. And
well, according to the catfish.
according to the catfish. Well, I think that they did get that specific. They probably have phone records that they could go back to and then see. Yes. Because then what they were saying was it was 10 minutes later, Mary called them and then they talked for 4 minutes. The extent of what they said the discussion was, because the things that Sam was allegedly saying to Mary that was making her gasp and taking her breath away, I don't think it happened like that, because I feel like if it happened that soon, Mary wouldn't have continued interacting
You're
with them.
referring to, so Sam on the phone when she called was like, why do you have to be married? Because you're so perfect for me.
Right.
So within the course of a few days, this went from someone saying, I'm not looking for a romantic relationship, to you're the woman of my dreams.
And in a 4-minute phone call, got to that point to say, gosh, it's a real shame that you're married because you're perfect for me. And she couldn't believe that this was such a romantic thing for somebody to say to her. I'm going to call BS on that too, just because I don't think that you would do that early in the funnel. Like that's something that happens later on down the road. I think this conversation, that exchange did take place at a certain time. I don't think it happened that day.
Well, if it did go the way that they're saying it did in the book, it makes you question why Mary wouldn't have at that moment kind of put the walls up and said, whoa.
That's what I'm getting at.
This person's strange.
This person
said something that's clearly not the truth.
They said that they weren't.
And this is crossing a line now.
And then now they're approaching me in this other way. I don't think she was like broken down enough yet at that point to be open and accepting of that based on those interactions. I don't know. I can't say for sure. We don't know if Mary called them or how long that conversation actually was and what took place. But I'm just going to go ahead and say maybe that's something that's kind of amplified here a little bit for the sake of the storytelling, for the sake of this perfect romance love story that they're trying to spin in the manifesto.
They're trying to make it like very love at first sight.
Yeah. Yeah. That it was like destiny.
We fell in love in the pods.
Something like that.
Well, now, again, this book's all over the place. So now we're going to go back to talking more about Sam's background. And if you thought that being a 6'6" multimillionaire CEO of 6 businesses, yet I guess never gave any advice for my sister wife's closet during this time.
No. That was a lost cause at this point.
Successful person in their own right. He gives us the background on his childhood. His mother came from money, generational wealth. Yeah.
The way that was just thrown out there and then never really expanded upon.
Like what heir to what fortune are you from?
Yeah, like where
did the generational wealth come from?
And like the descriptions of then like Sam's mom's siblings too, where it was like they're all degenerate alcoholics and they've been divorced 3 or 4 times and they don't work for anything because they don't need to. No, I don't think that's from generational wealth. I think that would be just from, it doesn't line up with the rest of that. Like it feels like it is drawn from there again, that were they not working and alcoholics? Yeah, probably. Like that would be the element of truth. I don't think it was because they came from generational wealth, though.
Okay, I'm not even buying any of this.
Okay.
What I feel like I'm reading between the lines of that is that the person who's writing this book has a real issue with people who come into wealth without having to work for it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I'm wondering if maybe that's part of the issue that they have with this show, of feeling like the people who are on here are not deserving of the life that they now have from being on TV and not even being truthful about their lives and who they are on TV.
Okay.
And yet they're benefiting from it.
Well, isn't that a little bit of hypocrisy then, coming from a catfish, where I would say you do work hard for your money because...
But what does this catfish do? This catfish lies to people to get money out of them.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So, and I get that that's where the rage can come from then, that their lie reflects your lie. And so in a way it feels like you're being called out.
It's deeply personal to you.
Yes. So then it can get offensive on that level too. That can be very upsetting.
Because the story also doesn't make sense when they say, my mother came from generational wealth, but my father married her despite that.
Yeah.
I was like, despite that? Not because of that? Because most stories would be that someone was, it was a benefit to them that they were marrying somebody who came from generational wealth, or like they targeted somebody to marry them because they want to marry into money. Not, my dad was a hardworking construction worker.
Construction worker. Is that why?
Did Cody read this book? Is
Cody the catfish?
Why Cody?
He really doesn't.
Don't even say that, because I've seen articles where people question if Cody or Robin were the catfish.
Ooh, interesting.
They clearly are not. They couldn't. They're not this creative. They can't even give us a good storyline on
Robin
this fucking show.
only exclusively writes episodes of Muppet Babies, you guys. She does not write love story manifestos.
This really isn't her genre.
No, definitely not. This is a
work of nonfiction, apparently.
There are 0 sparkling vampires in this love story. She lost interest, okay, very quickly. Page 1, she's out. She's done.
So his dad was a construction worker and was violent and also drank heavily, was an alcoholic.
Okay. So again, like, I feel like there could be a history of parents or adults or that abuse of that, where this is the real tidbit, right?
Right. Is there truth that relates back to the real?
There is an element of truth
life
that you can draw from, because then there's a lot of those references that are then thrown out. So like, could that have been part of their backstory? Not Lindsay's backstory, of Jackie's backstory, because that's also Lindsay's backstory too, a little bit probably.
It's true.
But so like, with that, is that the nugget of truth that they are able to draw from and then paint something that resembles reality here?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Yeah. Also, like, was that a point of connection between the catfish and Mary? We don't know. But
tried to connect with Christine. Alcohol. That would have been the way to get there.
For a brief period of time. Just for a minute. I thought the catfish had one good piece of advice, which was to have dates with your kids.
This was weird. I don't know what this was all about. This makes me think like it is Robin. No, it's not.
No, they were talking about like trying to set up how having relationships with women was hard to navigate. Part of that is learning how to treat someone in a relationship and how you should take your kids on dates from a young age so that they learn how to treat somebody in that type of setting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen people do that. It's very super nanny of the catfish.
That was big at the time. Yeah.
Maybe that's a future. Maybe you can pretend to write kids books, not kids books, but parenting books.
Muppet Baby books. Yeah.
Muppet Baby books.
You can do that. Anybody can. You could do it.
Robin's trying to retire from reality TV. Maybe she's going to retire from writing Muppet Babies. There's going to be a hole in the market.
Probably at some point. The other thing that she's trying to relate to, Sam is trying to relate to.
That's why I keep saying they, because I don't want to confuse people. This is not a real person.
It's not a real person, guys.
Like, it's two identities wrapped in one. It's very confusing.
Yeah. So, the other thing that Sam is trying to connect with Mary on is the element of fidelis here that we're talking about. There's a lot of this punishment of growing up in Catholic school and being kind of picked on by the nuns.
Can I just tell you these stories about Catholic stool?
Stool, yeah. There's some stool in there too.
Are like written as if it's somebody who has like watched a few movies about what it's like to go to Catholic school.
What movie came to mind for you? Because
Matilda.
That is exactly what came to mind. I was like, this is just Matilda. This is somebody
Trenchbull locked me.
Yes, Mrs. Trenchbull grabbed me by my pigtails and threw me out in the yard. Like, that's what happened. She forced me to eat cake on stage, and I'm forever scarred.
I refuse to rat on anyone. So it also turns into like a mafia type thing, which reminds me a bit of like the Lindsay character.
When you can trust me with information, you can tell me anything.
I don't leak like a sieve like Cody.
No. Yeah. Until I write my book. But that's a different, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
kind of believe that maybe that's a point of connection with Mary too, of the Fidelis. Mary is known for being this super loyal person, which he would have known from having watched Sister Wives.
DVR, yeah.
And that was a huge conversation when Robin was trying to get them to invest in my sister wife's closet.
Right.
And made all the, Cody designed the jewelry, supposedly. Robin made it. And, she almost got her dog necklace.
Loyal like a dog. Yeah, so close.
So this person is also fiercely loyal.
Fiercely loyal, but then also struggles with relationships.
But in a Godfather type way.
But also struggles with relationships too, because then Sam's talking about how there was this one other person, Lisa.
A hot Australian millionaire has only had 3 relationships in their life, one of which was with Mary.
Lisa, a nameless woman, and then Mary, because we're not going to talk about that second person. Who
is probably also another catfish victim.
She who shall not be named, probably. But yeah, Lisa Simpson is the one, right? It's a 15-year
about Lisa. Again, it's like a movie.
A 15-year on and off relationship that starts when you met in junior high or freshman year or whatever.
Freshman year of high school, Lisa's like, "You're my boyfriend."
And then Sam's like, "Okay.
Meet me at Dairy Queen.
At 6:00.
Shake your mom down for $10.
And Sam's like, I don't have... Yeah, your mom's good for it. She comes from generational wealth.
I was unclear as to whether or not Sam's mom walked away from her generational wealth to be with his dad.
Yeah, like a Notebook sort of storyline.
Yeah, or if she still benefited from that money. Because then how does Sam become a multimillionaire and run 6 businesses? Are we supposed to believe that this was like, oh, my family had money, but my mom walked away from it. And then despite all the odds, I was able to become just as wealthy, but from the hard work of myself.
Yeah, that I learned from my dad through his construction business.
I feel like that's the way it's going.
Yeah, I can see that being the angle here. But yeah, they're definitely going like a Notebook route. So they probably knew that Mary really liked the Notebook. And then it was like, hey, my mom did that. But she did like the Marry for Love thing. Mm-hmm. She did that part, unlike the mom in the Notebook.
When is there going to be a werewolf or a vampire to choose between?
No.
Oh.
That's a different... Well,
is that going to get a little too hard to believe?
Yes. The absurdity level goes straight through the roof on that. Yeah, it's not gonna happen here.
Lisa was kind of bossy. She would tell him what to do, but he kind of liked it.
Okay.
I just felt like I wanted to add that in there. It was all about people pleasing, which again is like, does that relate back to Keep Sweet? Like, I know what it's like to just people please someone too, and
is that Sam
worry
or
about
is
their
that
happiness.
Mary? Yeah, like, and are you just doing that to reflect Mary, so then Mary feels comfortable with you and then connects with you, and this connection grows? So like, it seems like we're blurring the lines now, even between Sam and Mary, because it's just how much of this is.
How much of Sam's story is based on Mary's life?
The reflection of Mary's experience and trying to align with her.
Wow, we just have so much in common. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Why don't you list off your 10 favorite movies, and then I'll tell you what my 10 favorite movies are, too. So we got The Notebook. We got Matilda. We've got Twilight. It is going to be in the mix, but we have to draw from the real stuff, you guys. So we'll work on the rest of the list as we go, but we'll. I feel like
Mary's favorite movies are a lot more depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Titanic?
The Holiday.
Titanic.
The Holiday's high up there.
Holiday is the opposite of depressing, though. Like, that was one of those movies where I watched it in theaters as a depressed teenager, and I was like, this movie ends too happy. Like, there should have been some other, like, there are some breakups in it, and I'm like, none of these people should have ended up together.
I think she likes a depressing Kate Winslet character. Like, that's peak for Mary.
That's her speed, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was a conversation about animal facts.
Oh,
and I think this is supposed to be like how we get to Sam's personality and how funny Sam is, that at one point he was asked what sound a llama makes and embarrassed himself trying to do it.
Okay, this one didn't really convey in book form.
No,
because we
it
didn't. The auditory experience was lacking here.
Where's the audiobook version of this?
That was more of a you had to be there sort of a story in text mode. And then I think that was the other part too, is where Sam really seems to be enjoying the idea or the thought of knowing what the reader is thinking. So there's like, I know that you are trying to hear this or sound this out in your head based on my descriptions. Yes, that's how a fucking book works. Yeah, that's how that goes. Is that you, as the writer, you write words. Here's a shocking. Are you ready for this fact? Every book you've ever read is just a different combination of the same 26 letters in the English language. Isn't that crazy, you guys? That's fucking insane.
I like what you said, though, about he's trying to get into the reader's mind. Because I think that's part of what a catfish gets off on.
They do the same thing because it was between that with the book or like with the sound example. And then also, about how they're not a great writer and they don't always use the right grammar or spelling. And I know that's going to drive people crazy. Haha. But like getting off on the fact that like, yeah, people are going to be annoyed by this, which I was. So my brain shut it off at a certain point.
At a certain point. Until things are spelled so wrong that I'm having a hard time figuring out what the word is. Like that annoys me because it's like now it's slowing me down from reading through this.
But then I just see this is Colin. This is the energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows, because this is what they're doing now. This is why they haven't had to do too much public stuff now, because like, yeah, this book is out there. They're getting all the sustenance from this of just knowing that every time I read a grammatically incorrect sentence here, that it just tinges something in my brain. So then it's like, yeah, I think they're getting that. It's going out into the universe and it's fulfilling a need for them in that way, I suppose.
You know, it's not bothering me that much. I feel like once you get used to reading what most people write on the internet at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't any different than going into TikTok comments at one point. Yeah, it's just, I mean, literacy
I spent a lot of time trying to understand what people are saying.
Dwindling further. Every day we, one step further away from literacy is what's going on here now. So anyway, the llamas, the sounds, I think it was more of a control thing of look at me getting off on this fact, this thought.
All right, let's talk about the money, because that was interesting, where he's basically saying the money that was made from the show was not evenly distributed.
Which has been confirmed.
I mean, anyone with two eyes could look at Robin's backyard.
Yeah.
And the gumball machines.
Not that backyard. Not that dump truck.
I was like, why did you gasp?
Not that dump truck.
It was very apparent that there were lifestyle differences.
Yeah.
And that Mary started bringing in a whole lot more money than some of the other wives did.
Well, yeah, and once that became clear, then Robin was like, ooh, yeah, we can't let the gravy train leave. Need that debit card, baby. I got lots of QVC orders. I got dollies on backlog here. So, yeah, we got to get to stepping as far as once we get the PIN number activated here. That's what's going on.
Is this whole section supposed to be a threat, though? Because it's talking about like, well, what's going to happen after this show ends? They're all going to be financially destitute because they rely on this show for money.
Well, that's the claim. Yeah.
And he says that Mary straight up told him like that she didn't know what was going to happen when the show wasn't on anymore. Yeah. Because that's most of where their money is coming from.
It's the reality that has drastically changed now.
Yes.
As far as if we're looking at the landscape now, very different. I do not believe that the main source of income is still the show for the family.
Diversified.
Mary is diversified. And Janelle is doing a whole bunch of grifts. Christine has a bunch of different things going on. So it's just like there's a ton of different avenues that they have now that are not just solely relying on the show. So I don't think that this is as dire as it was at the time of writing, probably.
I mean, maybe that was a lesson from the catfishing, because were so concerned that the show was going to come to an end coming off of this scandal, even though it just propelled the show into like another stratosphere, which probably upset the catfish because
Right.
I don't think that that was the goal.
That wasn't the plan.
But maybe they learned that they need to plan for the fact that this money could all be gone one day. Very quickly, the network could just say, we're not renewing you. We're not going to film this next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid. That's a very real thing that you
Yeah.
need to be dealing with at that point.
Apparently, Sam encouraged Mary to write a book. That would be a quick way to make some money.
Because you have a
Case
captive
in
audience.
point.
Yes, clearly.
Which is why the catfish is writing this
you could
one.
just self-publish it on Amazon at the time.
Maybe that's why Mary has been so adverse to writing a book.
Because the catfish told her.
Mhm.
And then it would be the catfish's idea. And she doesn't want to give that any energy.
Although apparently this week she confirmed that she is working on a book.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's Muppet Babies. That's what she's working on.
I have really like low hopes for anything that she writes. I don't think that it's going to be a tell-all of any sort. I really think that it's going to be more of like a Mel Robbins type book.
Vagaries.
Vagaries that are supposed to teach us something.
Yeah.
Let them.
Lessons learned through years of abuse and putting up with keeping sweet, like what she was venting to the catfish about at this time, where she was so annoyed with pretending like everything was fine, sweeping things under the rug, running behind Cody, who's fucking everything up, and pretending like, hey, no, that's okay. I'm just going to clean up the mess behind him. Like he's the toddler running around and I'm the mom just following behind trying to keep up.
Most believable part of this entire chapter.
Those are facts. Yeah, those were facts. That I believe.
Also, it was implied that the show was complicit in trying to cover up some of Cody's bad behavior,
Right.
where he would say things on camera that, were not nice, and that the show would essentially like clean it up or not include it. Yeah, because that's why his confessionals become so jarring around the time of COVID. Even before, it was that season where Christine was like, everybody hates me. And he was like, polygamy sucks. I'm not going to advocate for it anymore.
Right.
That is when we started seeing a lot more of the real Cody on camera.
Yeah, and it felt abrupt at that time because we didn't have anything else to compare it to, really. And so that was the confusing part for the viewing audience. Yeah.
I was like, was that always who he was? Or was there a turning point where he became just like very angsty and angry and started expressing it? Or was it always kind of there, maybe to like a lesser magnitude? And so it was easier for them not to show those moments? I don't know.
Well, and I mean, like the way that she was talking to, if they were fighting, I don't know if they were fighting on camera, because then if that was stuff that was happening where he would say mean things or he would yell and then he would storm out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mary kind of learned, oh, don't push back on things. Don't speak up. Don't have a voice.
This is where she was silenced.
Yeah, she lost her voice.
Yeah, which was confirmed in the tell-all for season 20, where she was talking to Suki about that.
Lost her voice. Wasn't speaking up on things. Learned to kind of blend in and stay, comfortable as far as like where her role is in the family, supposedly.
But I think she was uncomfortable
I think she
through
was.
all of that. And a lot of them noticed it, the family members, where they were like, okay, something weird's going on with Mary. And it wasn't just when something weird was actually going on with Mary. It was just like when Mary would be quiet or not really express how she felt about something. And they would nag her about it because they knew that she has to have an opinion. She's just not saying anything.
She wasn't expressive enough, but then when she expresses, then they don't like that either. So you can't win. It's a lose-lose, definitely, based on those circumstances that you find yourself in.
Also, very much tracked about how Cody would listen to a certain point when they'd have an argument and then he'd just storm out.
Right. Yeah.
Which we unfortunately saw come to fruition on the show when he did that with Janelle.
Correct. Yeah, that was immediately what came to mind about the yelling and then storming out. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's the fight.
So also, good job doing some time self-reflecting, Cody, where maybe if you didn't want people to think that these things about you were true, you wouldn't years later go on to demonstrate them on TV.
No, it's still happening. Still going on. This was also a weird thing where Cody was doing stuff that the catfish is talking about doing, because the writing of the book is Sam basically telling everybody, this is my proof that I'm still defending Mary, and I kind of want to like release her and like let
the goal
her,
of this book is to free Mary.
It's free Mary, and that's what I'm trying to do. That was the whole basis of Cody's apology tour in season 20. That's what we just watched.
Well, I mean, does that give you, again, the perspective of somebody who thinks that they hold control over another person?
Yes.
And how sad is that for Mary? I know a lot of you hate her, but that this is a person who has had two people in their lives feel like they hold a lot of control over her as a person and her actions.
That's annoying, right? You keep giving up that autonomy to these different people in your life, and it's like, well, you're
knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah, and it just continues to happen. So we're kind of perpetuating a cycle. Are we realizing what that is? Are we seeing that in Ron, her relationship with Ron? What's going on with this? Is that what we're going to get?
I don't think Ron seems overbearing at all. I think he seems quite the opposite.
Okay.
If anyone's controlling anyone in that relationship, I think
Mary's
it's the other way around.
Ron.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, so she's flipped it now. She's becoming the person who I need
to
find somebody who's vulnerable that I can take advantage of here.
We haven't seen enough of that. But
Not yet.
You know what was weird was when she was talking about what she's looking for in an ideal person, a partner for her, it was like, I want a cheerleader who's supportive of all the things that I'm doing. And the catfish purports themselves to be
That's Sam.
like that.
That was Sam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sam likes to be in the background, not the center of attention, supporting somebody else.
Yeah,
who's
also
doing
so that
well.
you get to be in the spotlight. It makes people feel good when they're the ones who are like the main center of attention. Even if you're somebody who doesn't like attention, it's nice to have one person in your life who makes you the focus. And that's what the catfish is trying to do to Mary.
So the catfish is upset too, though, about how the screen time on the catfish story.
Someone beat them to the story of the catfishing.
Mary was very quick to dismiss the entire relationship and just gloss over it in a 10-minute segment where she was just saying, I got tricked, I got fooled. It was all the bad things about what happened in their relationship.
So we talked about this, where on the show, they didn't really tell us a lot of details about the actual catfishing. And we were questioning, like, was that a choice that was purposely made? Or was that just Mary not sharing enough information and not being transparent because of her own personal motives to try to keep this story and her involvement in an affair as little as possible?
She kept it vague.
Was it to deflect?
Yeah.
Well, now it makes me question, because the catfish seems pretty upset that they only got 10 minutes of one episode dedicated to their story.
That was what they were upset about, was specifically the airtime that was dedicated to this was such a big part of Mary's life and a big part of their relationship. Why wasn't that given the attention that they felt it deserved, that Sam specifically
There's a
felt?
lot of work to get 10 minutes of TV.
Yeah, that was tough.
Mm-hmm. Also, it was defamatory, what Mary said.
Oh,
which
okay, right.
I don't think you can defame someone who's not a real individual. I don't think that lawsuit would get very far.
That's tough. Yeah, that's a tough sell, definitely. Sam was still the one who was encouraging Mary to leave Cody.
That's how they wrap up this chapter, is we need Mary to leave, and I need you all to help push her to that point,
Right.
since she's not listening to me anymore.
But also, I'm still in love with her, and I always will be. And let me tell you a little something about my special gal, Mary, ... That leads us into chapter 2. Next chapter, I guess, we're going to learn about Mary.
Doesn't that feel really menacing to say, I'm still in love with her and I always will be?
Yeah, there's something in there, probably, definitely.
I don't know. I'm interested in reading chapter 2.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. And we'll definitely...
We got to start getting to the receipts of things,
Right.
This felt like, again, a lot of backstory, but we really dug into it.
Yeah, I think we were able to tell which films were really the inspiration behind the backstory of what was going on. I don't know what it was. Yeah, it was reading those points. It's kind of weird that Matilda came up for both of us on the school stuff. And then Yeah, definitely the Notebook for the love story between Sam's parents. That is like this kind of bitter rivalry thing that's still happening as well. So can you find the other pop culture references as far as what is being
help
utilized
us,
here?
guys, because
let us know if we missed any.
I guarantee a lot of this story has got to be based on other things.
Oh, I'm sure.
Whether it's movies, TV shows, books, like they're pulling inspiration from other people's lives.
Maybe not books. It's going to be an amalgamation.
Less books.
It's going to be an amalgamation, a mix of things. Yeah, because as soon as they said they read a lot of religious things, and I was like, okay, the Da Vinci Code? Probably the Da Vinci Code. It's a lot of Dan Brown stuff. Religious theology.
You could tell by the sentence structure that this is just not a person who reads extensively.
Right.
It does change the way you write when you read a lot, which is why you should encourage your children to read.
There you go. Fun facts to end out. We'll end on a llama note, too. What does a llama sound like, Carly? Are you going to
I'm not doing it.
The sound? I'm not going to
At one point, he was confused if a llama was a camel, and I thought of Amy from 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Oh, she would know the difference. And then when he was referencing llamas, and I thought of Balin.
Alpacas.
Alpacas, yes.
They feel like a similar group of animals.
That's close. That's right in there, too. I think a llama sounds a lot like a bagpipe. So you got to be careful. Something like that. Okay.
People are pulling their headphones off. If you're interested in joining in on the investigation, obviously everything that we reveal will be part of the episodes. But if you want to help us dig and you want to be part of those conversations, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod, where we're talking about this on Discord.
We've got all of our good stuff over on Surviving Reality, that feed as well. We're still recapping The Traitors. We're recapping Suddenly Amish.
2 shows where you're being deceived.
Deception.
There's a lot of deception in the month of February with everything that we're covering.
A lot of the feeds. Very heavy stuff, you guys. Lots of things that we're going through, I suppose, as part of this. Maybe we'll have to lighten up the mediocre down this month or something.
We're going to be extra paranoid.
We've done enough deep diving through all the other stuff, so maybe we'll do something a little lighter on the Patreon for a couple of the monthly episodes here, so we'll keep that in mind too.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.